And when I found out I was pregnant, wasn't until June, bitch. Yes. So when I found out I was pregnant, it was like 3 or 4 months after graduation, after I had graduated high school. And when I found out I was pregnant, I was already 5 months pregnant. That's what, that's how long I didn't even know I was pregnant. Because I'm tall, like I'm 6'2" and I'm slender. And when you in high school, your habits is going to school, staying up all night, sleeping all day, and eating. So when I started eating and sleeping more, I didn't notice it because I was already staying up all night, you know, doing regular teenager shit. So, I was going through a lot because me and my mom don't get along, like I said. So she was always putting me out. And when she put me out, it was like I finished 10th grade. In my 11th grade year, I tried to go to like this little charter academy school where you could basically like graduate high school early and do all your work on the computer and stuff like that. And hurry up and finish school if you got other stuff you're trying to do in life, whatever. And so I guess my godmother ended up getting involved and didn't think that I was self-disciplined enough to be in this alternative school, basically trying to graduate early. So they pulled me out and my mom put me out. And so I basically wasn't in DISD anymore, which is Dallas Independent School District. I had to move to Wiley Independent School District because that's where my godmother stayed at the time. And since my mom had put me out, I didn't have anywhere to go. And so I basically moved in with my godmother. So I was staying with my godmother my 11th grade year. And then my 12th grade year, I moved back to DISD. And I moved back in the house with my mom my senior year. And then I guess something down the line ended up happening. And she put me out again, y'all. And I ended up back. The last part of my senior year, I was at my godmother's house. And like I said, that it was a lot going on. And so I couldn't put it... that I could totally understand why being pregnant slipped my mind. Because I had so much other stuff going on, basically. So when I had... ended up staying with my godmother and I graduated like the last 6-7 months of my senior year. I was messing up, y'all. I was skipping class. My school, my senior school, I went to Lake Highlands High School in Dallas, Texas. They basically had like a work study program, and if you had gotten all your credits at a point in time before you graduated, you would only have a certain amount of classes and stuff like that. So I had like only 3 classes. I had like math, English, and then I had a work study class. And my work study class, basically the school got me a job at Kroger. And I was like one of them bagger people that helped the people with groceries and took them to the car and stuff like that. And so every day I would go to math, English, go to the work study program, get out at 11 o'clock in the morning, go to work, and be at work all day. And then when I got paid and stuff, I would have to bring them my paycheck stub to school, and they would grade me based off my paycheck stub to like match up the hours that I was at work to the hours that I wasn't at school type thing. And so I ended up quitting the job towards the end of the school year and switching to another job. Okay, so the other job I switched to was a strip club. And I ended up being a waitress at a strip club, and that's what I was doing. So I was kind of doing it the same way, but when I got out of school at 11 o'clock, I basically didn't have a job to go to because I didn't start at the strip club until like later on in the afternoon when school was over. But it still ended up working out and stuff, but I ended up, I started skipping school and stuff like that, and I became friends with this stripper, and she had her own car and stuff like that. She was doing a whole bunch of other side stuff. We're not gonna talk about that, but she was doing a whole bunch of other side stuff, and I wasn't doing it. She was doing it. But I know how y'all all out there be like birds of a feather flock together, but y'all don't know me. I have all types, different calibers of friends, but just because my friends do what they do don't mean I do what they do. I do my own thing. I support anybody, you know. I'm not judgmental. I don't be judging people. But anyway, so I started hanging out with this girl, and then that's when I started skipping school and fucking up and stuff like that. And then I was also hanging with her when I cheated on my boyfriend with the guy that I got pregnant by. Yes, I remember exactly where I was when I had conceived that baby. So Paris ended up coming back from Oklahoma in April, and by this time I still didn't know I was pregnant. So when I actually found out I was pregnant, Paris was with me, and the doctor was like, "You're pregnant." And Paris was happy because we had been trying for a baby for the longest, and it just never worked. And so the doctor was like, "You're pregnant." And then I was like, "Oh." And then he was like, "Yay." And then I was like, "No." So as time played out, I wasn't as talkative with the guy that I had gotten pregnant by, but I was more involved with Paris now because he had, came back from being out of town. And so at the end of my senior year, when I graduated, I just never went back to my godmother's house because I felt like since I had graduated, I was grown. I had did my due diligence. I gave my mother a diploma. What more do y'all want from me? I just basically never went back to my godmother's house after I graduated. So she ended up calling me like, "Where are you at? I haven't seen you." And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think I had to come back, because I had graduated and stuff like that." So then that led, to problems and issues. And then, so I guess they couldn't do anything about it. I stayed over there. And, so then I found out I was pregnant, whatever, and I didn't tell my mom. And I was basically staying with my boyfriend by this point. So my mom didn't know what was going on or whatever. And my godmother didn't know I was pregnant. So when I found out I was pregnant, Paris thought it was his. And I was just trying to figure out how to tell Paris that I had slept with someone else. And it was a possibility it couldn't be his. And so, y'all, my godmother was talking to me about it, and I told her I didn't think that the baby was my boyfriend's. I thought that it was this guy that I had basically had a one-night stand with. So she was like, "Well, have you told the guy?" And so I was like, "Yeah." And then so she was like, "What did he say?" I was like, "Well, he don't really want to do that or whatever because he has a girlfriend, and he just wasn't trying to, basically do that or whatever." So I thought that was like the last of that little conversation. Nope. She went back and told my mama. My mama called me and was like, "If you don't tell Paris that you did what you did while he was gone, then I'm going to tell him." So my mom got this messed up way of telling people things, and so I had to nut up and go tell him. Basically, when you were gone, I felt like that you weren't being faithful, so I felt like, why should I be faithful if you weren't? And I went and did my little thing, and I'm not saying the baby ain't yours, but it's a possibility it couldn't be yours, So he was upset, and he went back into the house, and he packed all my shit, and he threw it out. Was calling me all kinds of hoes, and disfaithful, and I'm a liar, and I'm this, and I'm that. Told me call my mama and tell her to come get me in my shit. So I called my mama, and so she came over there, and right when then she got there, and I was putting my stuff in the car finna go, he wanted to change his mind, talking about he loves me, he wants to be with me, and he's sorry, he's hurt, but if the person doesn't want the baby, it's fine because he'll step in, he'll take care of it, it'll be our baby, stuff like that. So I ended up staying, and yeah. So fast forward, I have the baby, and we're all going through a little home situation because by this time I have the baby, I'm not staying with my boyfriend no more. We lost our apartment, so I had to move back in with my mom. And then my mom's like all up my ass, like, because when I ended up having the baby, she was sick, for one. And I feel horrible about that because I feel like that's probably my fault because I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 5 months. So when she was born December 17, 2008. She had Down syndrome. She has sickle cell disease. She had hyperthyroidism. She failed both of her hearing tests. Her eyesight wasn't so good, and she had 3 quarter-size holes in her heart. and just a list of other complications, and it was just bad. It was bad.
Thank you for tuning in with us. Please like the video. Don't forget to comment down below and also subscribe for more videos of us.